Good morning, everybody. Today I'm going to go over what is going to be your presentation. Hello, everybody. In this short lecture, I'm going to just tell you about the presentation assignment. So let's just get started. So here is this timeline for the assignments. We'll get more into the details just in a second. I just want you to know when we're actually going to be doing these. So the presentations will be between November 3rd and November 14th. I want to give everyone time enough to present without having scheduling conflicts, that sort of thing. The executive summary of your research, I want that by November 21st, which is the day before we go on Thanksgiving holiday. So let's go on, and I want to tell you about the groups because this is a group project. So I have named you uh, in your groups certain things. It's red. Each one of you is red. There's red number one, number two, and so on like that. And so here are the names. And so you'll need to get with your people. I'm going to email the person who has this little icon in there next to their name, this little person icon. I used Canvas to set up these groups, and they randomly picked someone to be the leader. So to begin with, I'm going to just send everybody's email information to this person right here. So let's go to the next one. Okay, and here, this is our leader here for red 2. You can pause the video if you need to write down names or anything. And here is red 3. Also, we have a leader here. Red 4, here is a leader. And then red 5 only has 5 people in their group, and here's our leader here. And you'll also notice that here is uh, your company that you're going to be doing research on. Those are each one, like that one's going to be fun. And then Apple, my favorite, Amazon, and Dr. Pepper. Okay, so these will also show up in the presentation assignment so that you can see who your group is and that sort of thing. All right. So presentations. The actual presentation themselves needs to be from 10 to 15 minutes. The brand that your group has been given, I want you to present a brand history, just a short history. It doesn't have to be really super in depth, just just a survey. And then I want you to tell me who the audience of the product is. I want you to have 2 or more ads. They can be like a beginning ad and a recent ad or whatever kind of things that you want to present. What I want you to do is I want you to analyze the ads and report on that and determine if they were successful for their audience. And then as a final wrap up of your presentation, I want you to give recommendations for that brand moving forward. There are no wrong answers. I just want you to get into a brand so you can actually see the history of a brand. And I want you to, when you're analyzing the brands, I want you to talk about the symbols that they're used and that sort of thing. So It'll be kind of using everything that we've been talking about in class. So, the steps for this presentation. You have an automatic leader picked, but should that leader decide that they don't want that position, then you may vote on another leader. If you happen to pick somebody who um, wants to be the leader, and maybe there's two leaders, you can work that sort of thing out in your group. If you need some help, you can ask me. But hey, when you get in the real world, you're going to have to work those kind of things out within your groups, and you will have to work in groups when you're in the real world. Unless you're working as a solitary person, then you're everybody. You're the whole team. Okay, so the leader needs to make assignments for each of the members. I want everybody to have something to do. Spread the work around the members. Don't make one or two people do everything. And be sure to set some deadlines. You have the entire month of October to work on this. So for a 10-minute presentation, it shouldn't be that difficult. And so I want you to meet often. Schedule something. Do it twice a week. Do it whatever works for all of your group. You can do it online or in person. It's your team's choice. I don't know that everybody is in Lubbock, so it might be better to meet online. All right, the steps that I want you to take. I want you to research your subject brand. Um, I want you to lay out how the project is going to go. Like, are you going to have an introduction? Well, of course, you need to have an introduction, but I want you to lay out the steps that you want to hit on your presentation. I want you to do data collection, and I want you to do data analysis. The data collection is basically just the way we have analyzed ads. I want you to analyze the whole brand. And then building the presentation comes last. That way you know what you've got that you can put into the presentation. Okay, so the research. You can find out information from your brand from articles from advertising publications like Advertising Age, Adweek, Harvard Business Review, whatever happens to be where your brand is showing up. You can listen to podcasts, you can look at their social media posts, and you can even go to scholarly publications if it's necessary. And that would be doing a search in Google Scholar. So decide what your approach is to the problem. Is it going to mainly be a timeline telling how the product started and to where it is right now? Are you going to tell a story? Are you going to just do a deep dive analysis in the semiotics that they're using in their brand? Up to you totally. So I want you to answer the questions from your plan that you've come up with. Like, where did they start? Why did they come up with this product, sorry. And just map it out. Ask questions that you want to answer. And that's a good guide for your research. And then I want you to make a list of the sources you used. I'm not going to make you cite in an APA standard way or an AP standard way, but I do want a list of the sources. So if you are thinking about going to graduate school, it would be a really good exercise for you to use the APA uh, style book to list your sources and to have your resources listed at the back. We can talk more about that whenever the questions come up. So as far as like when you're looking for information, keep collecting information while you still feel like there are new things to find. But once you find that you're just constantly finding reinforcements for what you've already found, they call that a saturated subject. So you can stop at that point. So you'll kind of know when you're done. So analysis. I want you to organize your analysis. So you can use this particular way, or you can just give a full on or analysis. Just tell us what you found. So building the presentation. I want you to have some slides. I know that that's probably a very boring way to do it. If you want to do a video talking about it and showing different things, you can. I just want you to have some kind of visual for us to all look at. So, PowerPoint, Keynote, or what other project software you might want to use. Be sure to use images. This class is all about symbols and images, so you must use images. I want more images than words, so I want the images to tell the story. And when you get your presentation put together, I want you to practice with your partners a lot. So the presentation itself. I want you to choose a time that's convenient for the team and the professor, that's me, on Zoom. Now, if you do a video, you could very well just, we could meet, you could play the video for all of us, and then I could ask you questions after. I do want to have some kind of dialogue with you after I see your presentation. So some other things for the presentation or video. Remember to dress for success. I don't want to see torn t-shirts. I don't want to see pajamas. I want you to dress as if you were doing this in a professional setting. Okay. So as far as the location for your team to be, you can all be together in the same place and present to me online, or you can be in your separate spots depending on what you want to do. Just know that my Zoom is just one of those free ones. I have 40 minutes that I can give, that I can actually be on with other people. But I think it's like a limit of two. You have 40 minutes. So just remember, you've only got that timeline if when you're doing video. I mean Zoom. So also the background for your video or your Zoom call. Be sure that it's a nice clean area behind you. No roommates walking past you, nobody sleeping in the bed behind you, that sort of thing. Just make sure that it's a well lit space that doesn't have a lot of clutter in the background. You could even hang up a sheet or something if you really want to get um, fussy. Or if it's too much to clean up, I know that would be what I would want to do. Okay. So let's move on. So the executive summary is something that it should be part of your presentation. It's basically the introduction, just a summation of the entire presentation. I don't want more than one page. 2 paragraphs is plenty. Just be sure that you summarize what you've said or will say in your presentation. And just for those who may go to graduate school, here is a link. It's a style guide that's online for APA 7. That's the current one. And it's called Purdue OWL. You may have already used this. I don't know. I think that most of you probably have used AP in your classes. And so APA is a more of a style for people who are doing research in the human sciences. So anyway, there is the link. Use that because you can add, it has a little search thing. You can ask questions like, how do I format my references? And it will tell you. On this written portion of the assignment, that's where I want the list of sources. And if you use direct quotes, be sure that you give some source for the quote. I don't want you to use somebody else's words as yours without giving them credit. And if you're really worried about in this executive summary about spelling and grammar, use Grammarly because oh my goodness, nothing is worse than having a lot of misspelled words. So you can spell check in any program practically that you can use these days. I mean, even Photoshop has spell check. So use Grammarly for the grammar portion. There's a free one available. If you don't already have it, you should download it immediately. Let me know if you have any questions. So we're going to go to the next part of Module 4. I'll see you then.